Today, what I would love to share with you is really quite a simple message. I'd just love to talk to you about the power of friendship. The power of friendship. The early church was famous for its love. And if our church here, if Christ Church is going to be famous for anything, it's not going to be for our great programs, it's not going to be for the wonderful groups or even the amazing church services that we have. We want to be famous for our love. The early Christians, it was said of them, see how they love one another. It was the defining mark. Jesus says to his disciples, I've called you friends. I no longer call you servants, you're my friends. Friendship is almost the defining relationship from which all others stem. Jesus says, I have great love for you. And that love, there's different words that the Bible uses for the word love. You're probably aware of that. C.S. Lewis, in his book, The Four Loves, describes the 4 kinds of love that the Bible talks about. There's agape love, that specific love that God the Father has for us, his children. There's storge love, which is kind of emotional sort of love. And then there is eros, which is the sexual, intimate love between a husband and a wife. And then there is phileo, which is the love of friendship. And when Jesus uses the word in this passage in John, he uses this word, no greater love has someone than he lays down his life for his friends. The word love there is the word philoi. It's friendship love. It's that deep love that exists between friends. Phileo is one aspect of love, and it's very important. It's the act of love from which all others flow. You can be married and enjoy the intimacy of a relationship, but some of you will know you can be married and very lonely. Friendship was considered in the ancient world one of the highest forms of love, higher even than marriage. Marriage is for this life. There will be no marriage in heaven, but friendship lasts into heaven because Jesus says, I call you friends. So friendship's going to outlast this world. Marriage is for now, and it's wonderful for those who are married, but it's time-bound. Friendship is the root of all relationships. From friendship can grow a good marriage. From friendship can grow deep and sustaining relationships. Jesus shows us that marriage is not the only solution to being alone. Friendship is at the core of the scriptures. In the book of Genesis, God walks with Adam and Eve in the cool of the day, and that word to walk with is the word friendship. It describes a deep and intimate friendship that Adam and Eve enjoyed with God. And of course, when fallenness and sin comes into the world, that friendship with God is broken. You get those little hints that God longs to restore it. It was Moses spoke with God as a friend. Abraham was described as a friend of God, but that's few and far between. But then with the coming of Jesus, Jesus says, I've called you friends. Everyone can be my friend. He's come to restore a friendship with the Father. And on the cross, that's supremely what Jesus did. He was restoring our friendship with God. Friendship is the key to our relationship with Jesus. Sometimes we think of God as somebody we want to serve, somebody who we want to direct our lives. We want him to be Lord of our lives. But he says, but I want to be your friend. Let's hang out together. And that's a vital part of our Christian faith. Jesus says, I've called you friends. And he shows us, Jesus in talking to his disciples, shows us what a friend is. 2 kind of aspects of what makes a friend and a deep friendship. He says in verse 13, he says, no greater love has this than that someone lays down his life for a friend. A friend is someone who won't let you down. Jesus didn't let us down. And our greatest need, which was to be reconciled to God, Jesus laid down his life. He did it for his friends. A friend is someone who won't let you down. But then Jesus goes on to say in verse 15, he says, I no longer call you servants, because a servant doesn't know his master's business. Instead, I've called you friends, for everything I learned from my Father I've made known to you. See, a friend is someone who lets you in. Lets you in on their lives, lets you in. Jesus says, I call you friends because I've let you in. I've let you see my heart. I've let you into how I feel. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he was vulnerable. He was in anguish, it says, because of what he faced upon the cross. And he wanted his friends to wait with him. A friend lets you in. A friend will never let you down, but always lets you in. That's the definition of friendship that Jesus gives us. And it's possible to be one and not the other, isn't it? It's possible to have somebody who wants to be in on your life, but will let you down. Dearest Jimmy, no words could ever express the great unhappiness I've felt since breaking our engagement. Please say you'll take me back. No one could ever take your place in my heart. Please forgive me. I love you, I love you, I love you. Yours forever, Marie. P.S. Congratulations on your recent lottery win. See, some people want to be in, but they'll let you down. Other people in your life, they won't let you down. A good doctor, I hope you have. A good dentist, I hope you have. They won't let you down, but they don't want to be your best friend. They can't be. They won't let you down, but they don't let you in. And you have other friends, they want to be in, but they'll let you down. A friend is someone who lets you in and won't let you down. That's what Jesus does supremely. And it's the model for our friendships. A friend is someone who will never let you down, but lets you in. Lets you into their lives. How can I have a friendship with God? In this passage, Jesus says that he is the source of true friendship and love, to which all other sacrifice ultimately points. This is the friendship. Jesus defines friendship. He models it and shows us on the cross. This is, I'm doing this for you. He says, I'll let you in and I'll never let you down. And our friendship with God has been restored through Christ. So that he, amazingly, the Son of God can say, you're my friend. That's how he acts towards us. Sometimes when people are going through difficult times in their lives, and I understand, and all of us who are pastors experience this from time to time, and people say, well, I just sometimes wonder whether, I think maybe God's trying to tell me, something because this bad thing has happened in my life. And I often say to them, I may have said it to some of you already, what kind of a friend would teach you a lesson like that? What kind of a friend would do that to you to make a point? He's a friend. He didn't bring that terrible thing on you to teach you a lesson or to make a point. He's a friend. What kind of friend does that? Sometimes we betray, don't we, in some of our darkest moments, the fact that we still have some way to go in understanding how deep Jesus wants this friendship with me to be. I give myself away by saying things and making comments and thinking things about the Lord that if you think about it, if he's my friend, he'd never do that. I'd never do that to my best friend. Nor would he. Nor would he. He's a friend. See, Christianity is a religion of friendship. Somebody once said this, Muhammad writes a book, leaves a book and dies. What have you got? A book. Confucius writes down his insights. What have you got? His insights. Buddha leaves his saying and dies. What have you got? The sayings of Buddha. Jesus leaves you himself. He doesn't just leave you a book and says, study this. He doesn't just give you a bunch of sayings and say, here's the kernel of all my teaching. I mean, we have a book, we have the kernel of his teachings, but Jesus has given us himself. He's here. He's a friend. He's walking with you, if we could but see it. And on the cross, Jesus says, my friend, the friendship is sealed. I will never let you down, and I'll always let you in. And God wants to let you in as a personal connection. Stay friends with Jesus, not just servants. Yes, we do serve God, but God doesn't just want us to be servants. He wants us to think of him and talk to him like a friend and understand his ways, our ways of friendship in our lives. Does that mean that God will never say something that might be challenging or difficult to hear? No. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, says the book of Proverbs. A good friend will say the hard thing because I love you too much to let you carry on thinking this or doing this or saying this. Friendship is the basis for good confrontation. What kind of a friend wouldn't tell you that shirt looks awful on you? What kind of a friend is it that wouldn't tell you that actually sometimes you're a pain in the neck and actually you need to listen more to other people and stop talking about yourself all the time? A friend can say that in love and still love you because you know they'll never let you down, so you can trust what they say. Friendship's the basis for good confrontation, for healthy relationships. To be a Christian is to take the hand of friendship that Jesus offers on the cross. His death is proof he'll never let you down. His outstretched hand is proof that he'll always let you in. One of my favourite little poems, I think I've shared this in the evening service, goes like this. There was once a Shakespearean actor who was known far and wide for his one-man show of readings and recitations from the classics. He would always end his performance with a dramatic reading from Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." At the conclusion, the crowd would rise in thunderous applause in appreciation of the actor's incredible ability to bring the passages to life. But one night, just before the actor was about to offer his usual recital of Psalm 23, a young man from the audience spoke up. "Sir, do you mind if I recite the psalm today?" The actor was a bit taken aback, but he allowed the young man to come to the front and to read, knowing that the ability of this unskilled man could never match his own actor talent. And with a soft voice, the young man began to recite the words, "The Lord's my shepherd." And when he was finished, there was no applause. There was no standing ovation. All that could be heard was the gentle sound of weeping throughout the audience. Amazed, the actor said to the young man, "I don't understand. For years, I've been performing the 23rd Psalm. I have a lifetime of training and experience, but never have I moved an audience as you have tonight. Tell me, what is your secret?" The young man replied humbly, "Well, it's very simple, sir. You know the psalm. I know the shepherd." Christianity is a religion of friendship. A friendship in which he wants to walk with us if we would but put our hand in his. Friendship, the power of friendship is a restored relationship with God as a friend through Jesus Christ. But we can go on. Friendship is the key to strong churches. It's the key to strong churches today, and to the re-evangelisation of our nature, of our nation, because of the nature of friendship. You see, churches are strong because of the bonds between one another. You can't know everyone, but everyone can know someone in a church. And churches should be places where people can find friends and know that they're among friends. Because of the power of friendship and because that's how Jesus intends it to be. You can have thousands of friends on Facebook, but no real friends. And churches provide a place where people can actually find real friends. And we're not the perfect church at that. No church is. We can be better. And we're going to try to be, because this is God's will for our church. Strong friendships are the key to strong and healthy churches. The New Testament letters mostly begin with "my dear friends." Hebrews begins, "my dear friends." The churches they planted were based on friendships. Jan and I planted a church in South London in 1992, now over 25 years old. It's a thriving, established church in South London, but we planted it with friends. And they're still our best friends. Some of them came over for dinner on Friday night, 25 years on, because we planted a church together and they were friends and we planted it from friendships. And those friendships have sustained our lives. We're godparents to their children, they're godparents to us. That core team that we started with, they're friends for life. I'd love Christchurch to be a place you find friends for life. I know some of you already have, and some of you are just starting out. May this be the place where you can find friendship. People are not looking for a friendly church, but a church where they can make friends. It's easy to be friendly on a Sunday, but the challenge to us is to let people into our lives, isn't it? Into our homes. So if we want this to be a place of friendship, a strong church built on strong friendships, then we have to do more than just be friendly. We have to let people in And maybe a challenge to some of us can be, are there other people, you just need to have them round, go out for coffee, invite them for dinner, invite them back after a Sunday service. A friend is someone who lets you in, just lets you into their home, into their life. Friendship is the key to healthy churches. Some people say, or I was told when I was at college training, they said, you have to be so careful about having friends in the parish. As a vicar, you shouldn't really have friends in the parish. And I've always sort of thought, how on earth do you do that? Well, where else am I supposed to find friends? I live here, it's my home too. Now, of course, you have to be careful that friendship doesn't take the place of being an effective pastor when you need someone to be that for you. Of course that's true. And of course it's true that the vicar can't be friends with everyone in equal measure in the church. They can't. We're 300 adults in Christ Church, all in. I can't be the best friend to every single one of you. In any case, some of you won't even like me, and that's fine. That's fine. I'd like you to know that I treat everyone as a friend. That's how I do my leadership. I think of you as a potential friend. Everyone's a potential friend. Not all of you will be. Jesus had different kinds of friends. He had the 3 that were closest, didn't he? Peter, James, and John. Then he had the 12. And he loved them all. He's speaking to the 12 here in John 15. He's speaking to the 12. But at the same time, we know there were 72. And then on the day of Pentecost, there were 120. We know there were different rings, if you like, of friendship that Jesus understood and had. There'll be people that we get on with better than others, and they'll become best friends. But we can treat everyone as if they were a friend. Every conversation I have with you, I think of you as my friends. And I greet you as a friend. We're not necessarily going to become best friends, but my attitude towards you is a friend. That's how I've always done my leadership. We're friends on a journey together. I have to take some responsibilities. But the best way I can lead you is if we're friends. That you actually know that whatever I'm doing is because I would lay down my life for you. That I'll let you in, and I won't let you down. And I have to prove that. Everyone has to prove it. Everyone has to prove worthy of that trust if we're going to have those deep friendships. But it starts with me demonstrating from time to time my willingness to sacrifice for you, my willingness to lay something down for you, and then my willingness to let you in, share with you a little bit of my heart. Share with you a little bit about some of my own struggles, if you like. That's why I never mind telling you all the funny stories about when I've screwed up, because we're friends, right? Are we going to have a laugh together about it? Because we're all learning to do this Christian life together. Friendship is the key to strong churches. Friendship is the key to transforming our society. Friendship is key to life because it's a relationship with Jesus. Friendship is the key to strong churches. Friendship is the key to transforming society. I love it that when we have our winter night shelter, we think of them as guests. The folks coming are guests. To think of it any other way is patronizing, but they're guests. We don't think of them as needy people. We think of them as friends, as guests that we're welcoming into our home. That's how we treat them. I love that Christ Church does that. It's the key to social transformation. It's the only way that stops you being patronizing, is if you think of people we're serving as friends, friends that need our support. Jesus says, my command is this, love each other as I have loved you. How has he loved you? As friends. Friendship is the key to evangelism. Is that number 4? Friendship is the key to evangelism. That's how most evangelism happens, is when people invite their friends to find out about Jesus. How many of you here would say that a friend played a significant or even the most significant role in your becoming a Christian? Okay. Look at that. It's a really good number, isn't it? That's a significant number of us. It's friendship is the key to evangelism. Friendship is the key to unity. Jesus prayed that we would be one. And friendship is the way to deal with enemies. Somebody said to me, before I was ordained, I was struggling with someone in the church, and we were on a mission, doing a mission, and the mission leader said to me, and I've been going on a little bit saying how frustrating this person was, and we were on a walk together, and he was my mentor at the time, and he said, Tim, your brother is always your brother, never your enemy. even if they look like it. Your brother is always your brother, never your enemy, even if it sometimes looks as if they are your enemy. And it doesn't mean that people aren't going to rub us up the wrong way, and we're not sometimes seriously going to have to deal with fallouts and difficulties. We will, of course we will. But if we have in our minds that the goal is friendship, I think it helps to steer us and navigate through reconciliation. If we understand that friendship is the goal that God is working towards in our fellowship. Friendship is the key to unity. Friendship is the key to discipleship. It's how we grow as Christians. Once we've committed our lives to Christ, we grow because friends take us under their wing, whether it's in life groups or in prayer triplets or just in relationships you forged in the church. And I know that we need many more of those relationships. And this isn't genuinely a plug for it, but I use it as an illustration. Somebody a couple of months back now said to me, I'm not really sure I'm going to come on the church weekend away in November. And I said, why not? And they said, well, I don't know, there's some other things happening that weekend, and I think I might rather do that. And I didn't say anything because I want to be their friend, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get at you particularly, if you're here this morning. But I remember sort of thinking, and I'll say it now, I'll say now what I was thinking then, is I kind of understand that, but just so that you know, we're not running a church weekend to provide some alternative entertainment for a weekend. You might choose staying in on a Saturday night and watching Strictly, or go to the church weekend. We're just laying on an alternative. That's not what we're running a weekend away for. It's not just sort of something, don't see it as the kind of, maybe, do I want to go or not? We're not asking, do you want to go above doing other things? We're asking if you would come as a friend, because we want you to be with us. We value your friendship, and there are other people that need to know your friendship there. There are people that God wants you to be a friend to, and there are people that you don't yet know that are going to be best friends to you. Friends, come on the church weekend away. We're doing it for a reason. Not just, do I want to come? Do I fancy the activities that I don't care? That's not why we're doing it. We're doing it so we can be friends. So that we can take some time out, carving out, yes, a sacrificial part of the diary, so that we're saying this is friends time. This is friends over a whole weekend. We're giving that time to being with friends, making friends, and being a friend to someone that wants it. Come to the church weekend away. If you haven't signed up yet already, there'll be another push in September. Make a note of the dates. Come away, last weekend in November. Come and make friends. Be a friend. Be with friends at the church weekend. Some of you may be struggling with money. There is no need to struggle with money. We have got loads of money. People have given us money. Let me clarify that. People have given us money because they want people to come. People have given us more money than they need for themselves so that people can come on the church weekend away. We will be launching very soon an opportunity to talk to one or two people in private if you need help. Money should be no object to you coming on the church weekend. It will not be an object. So just know that. Come. Because friendship is the key to discipleship. It's how we grow in our faith. And over my course of my lifetime, I've been grateful for the friends, some of whom have walked with me just for a season. Some of them have walked with me for almost all my Christian life. And they're the most precious thing I have. They're my friends. They've laid down their life for me, and they've let me into their lives. And I've modeled my life on theirs because I've watched how they did it, because they showed me. And I encourage you to find friends like that. And if you haven't yet, don't give up. Keep praying. And I'll just finish with this. There was about 5 or 6 points there. Friendship is the key to discipleship. And just finally this. I know we don't always get it right. And some of us have been hurt by friends that did let us down. Some of us have been hurt by churches that let us down. Some people are thinking, well, if the church was more friendly, I'm here, I'm standing here. I often find myself standing alone having coffee. I wish the church was more friendly. I wish that there were people that wanted to be my friend. I know we don't always get it right. I know that sometimes as a church we do let people down. Number one, Jesus won't ever let you down. We're doing our best to follow him, but we don't always get it right. Secondly, I want to encourage you, step over your being let down. Step over your misgivings. Step over your reticence. You can't live without friendship. And if we're friends with Jesus, he will want you to be friends with someone. persevere, keep going. Sometimes you have to sow a lot of seeds before you fall on the rich soil that grows a good friendship. So don't give up. And if you see people around that you think don't look like they know anyone to talk to particularly, can we take the initiative? They might be your next best friend. That's how most friendships start. Just someone took notice of you. I met a guy in a Swedish conference 6 years ago. We chatted for 5 seconds, I think, over a quick cup of coffee. He found out my name. I'd been speaking at the conference. I found out his name. I ended up working in Sweden for him. He invited me to go to his church for a year to serve as teaching pastor just before we came here. I met him over a cup of coffee, could have dismissed it. He just walked up to me and said, hey, Tim. And I had no idea. I said, I'm English, no idea what you're saying. He said, oh, okay. And he started to speak to me in English. That's how it started. Now he's a best friend. Just over coffee. Could you talk to someone today over coffee? Let's put this into practice. Jesus says, I've called you friends. I, as the vicar, say, I've called you my friends. Let's call one another friends.